sure did.
I got a link from a gambling article. Will it hurt me since it's a toxic niche? So this is actually pretty interesting, because a lot of, so for example, a lot of people, there's a stigma, right? There's the bad neighborhood niches, and usually when people think about bad neighborhood niches, they're thinking about adult, gambling, maybe payday loans, maybe like pharma,
Yeah.
right? Those are probably the big ones.
Yeah.
Am I missing anything? So yeah, those are the big toxic niches, right? That you don't want links from that kind of stuff. However, we have to go a little bit deeper into this, because the question really is what makes those niches toxic? Like what makes a link from those to you? Like, why do you not want that? And the reason is not because of the content itself. Like the content itself, the actual like words, like if it's just an article about gambling, or if it's an article about payday loans or whatever.
Porn industry, even I mean,
an article about
it's
porn,
not like Glamour magazine doesn't write about those things, right?
Or an article about ED or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
The content itself doesn't matter. What matters is the backlink profile of these sites. And that's why these niches are actually toxic. It's not because the content itself is dangerous. It's because the backlink profiles that a lot of these sites have are extremely black hat. They're extremely spammy. We're talking about foreign anchors, just everything, foreign spam, hacked links. We got just millions of like footers and everywhere, just whatever you can think of, millions of blog comments, everything auto-generated everything. And I'm not saying, if you've been watching us for a while, that that we actually kind of like this kind of thing in a way, even though we don't really use it too much, but they can actually do for you pretty well if you actually use these black hat tools correctly. But, a lot of them, over time, generally run into some kind of problems and penalties and whatnot. And so it's basically that, if you're getting a link from a site that's like that, then, that link would be seen as toxic. But even then, if you've got a good link profile and you don't have lots of links from sites like this, you're probably going to be just fine, right? But yeah, but just to give you like the other side of the coin, let's say you get a link from a very good website. It has a backlink. Let's say the website is about technology, right? And it's actually got a really strong backlink profile from a bunch of like, well-respected sites, and it's all about different technologies and stuff. And then they have one article on their site, and their site is about, I don't know, maybe some gambling app on your phone, right? And then that link to you. So it's about gambling, but it's not on a toxic site. Then that link, I would say that's still a very good link if you're like in the technology niche, because you're getting linked to from a site that's heavily associated with technology, that's heavily associated with authority, and you're getting linked to, so that the content itself doesn't matter. I mean, it matters as far as like relevance goes in a way, but if you listen to us talk about relevance as well.
Most people are going to ignore the app situation. Like, let's say it's a tech niche, they're going to be like, well, it's gambling. Well, but it's about a gambling app, right? So it's also tech.
Yeah. So, just because you get a link from a toxic niche subject doesn't really mean so much. It's more about the site itself. Is the site healthy? What's the site's backlink profile look like? If you get a link from a gambling article and the site is all about gambling, you look at it in Ahrefs and it's like, it had a bunch of traffic before it and it's down at like 0. You look at its backlinks and it's all like foreign and spam and Viagra and stuff, then yeah, I might be, I wouldn't like that link too much.
Yeah.
But, I probably, we're not really like big like disavow guys either. So it's not like I'd be like looking for that and like disavow it as soon as I saw it, because, that would make up such a small portion of our backlink profile, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not something I'd really care about. Even if it was like the worst case scenario, right? But if you're getting a lot of them, then you might want to look at maybe doing some kind of disavow. But still, I probably wouldn't even really do that unless you're like really getting some hardcore negative
unless you can't move up
ranking
in the
losses or yeah, some kind of issues with ranking in general. Anything to add?
Yeah, so I think like the toxic niche idea came out, I think the history of it was sort of when you would order links off Fiverr or early on, before Google's algorithm was as advanced as it is now. And let's say you ordered guest posts, right? And like some of them would be, quote, cleaner than others because some would have no stipulation as to what niches were allowed. So you'd be on PBNs or on guest posts where it didn't matter what the article was about, and then it'd be stuffed in with like 20 different links, including gambling, Viagra, random stuff. And that would tie the room together and make basically anything that was linked to within that article, kind of lose favor in a sense. Like it made it seem spammier. And so not everything that's in gambling or adult is necessarily toxic, because you could still get a link on there and then achieve better ranking because there is a trust flow there. However, like Chris said, typically within these niches, there is a lot more spam that occurs naturally or seemingly spammy stuff. And so the criteria to rank in those SERPs is far different than, ranking in somewhere else. But the main point that you need to take away is what Chris said, which is, just because the article is about gambling doesn't make it a toxic link, right? And even, quote, a toxic link that's really spammy, if it's got rankings, if it's got traffic, that can still help you in the SERPs. So sometimes, what you perceive as being unnatural or toxic, is a falsehood, because Google's algorithm, which is the point of this game, is to game that system, is favoring you.
If
right?
Google says it's a strong site and it's rewarding it with rankings and you get a link from it, I wouldn't really care what it is.
No,
I'll take the link.
It could be on a Viagra website, and I'd just be like, well, that's good traffic. I'll keep it.
Yeah, for sure.
But the point is, right, again, if you've built your foundation to be strong, right, meaning like as natural as you possibly can, you're going to be able to withstand getting some crappier backlinks. And that happens naturally on the web all the time. Not all websites are created equal. And a lot of people that blog regularly might have been affected by negative SEO or any number of things as well, and not even know it. That's all taken into account when they're creating a system, for ranking. So.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to check the description below for links to our blog for more info on this topic, along with a bunch of other cool stuff like case studies, our Facebook community, and our link building services. And like always, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell if you enjoyed the video. Thanks and happy ranking.